listen to me closely. It's not just about food, it's about freedom. Too many of us are letting food cravings control our confidence, our future, and most importantly, our lives. And I'm here to tell you guys today, enough is enough. I know what it's like to stand in front of a mirror and genuinely feel trapped by your own habits that you're doing. To eat because you're sad, depressed, or bored. I've been there. I've done it multiple times, over and over again, in times that felt like an endless cycle. But hear me and hear me clearly. I got control back. I took ownership and I put the control back in my hands and not in food's hands. And now I'm sitting here talking to you guys 50 pounds lighter, and not just in my physical body, in my mind as well. And if I can do it, so can you. So get ready, because today we're going to talk about breaking free from your food cravings and taking your power back. Let's get into it. So we're going to get into step one. And step one is acknowledging your cravings and, most importantly, understanding the root of those cravings. We all know that the cravings can be very, very real. It's not all in your head. When you are constantly consuming processed foods, high fructose, high sugar, it literally has properties in it meant to keep you addicted. So if you are addicted to these types of foods, that means it's working. Basically, when you're eating those types of foods, your body is just begging for like a hit of dopamine, because when you eat it, it makes you feel good in that moment. Usually it's not lasting, it's brief, but in that moment you kind of get a hit, almost like an addict would. What I had to learn and what I'm here to tell you guys today is that you are stronger than your cravings. And this was a complete game changer for me. A lot of times we let cravings take over us, and you are the boss of your body and your mind. You are in control. A great way to start regaining control of your cravings is really just thinking about what triggers your cravings. I know for me personally, what would trigger my cravings is if I had a really stressful day or inconveniences happen in my day and I wanted a dopamine hit. I wanted to feel good. So what would make me feel good was candy and sweets. And it was a moment that out of all the stress of my day, out of everything that went wrong that day, I knew in that moment I would feel good, even if it was just for a couple seconds, having that snack. It became like an almost comfort zone, but here's the truth is comfort zones are traps. You're not supposed to be comfortable all the time, and I encourage now in my current lifestyle to be more uncomfortable. Comfortability will keep you exactly where you are and you won't be seeing changes. For years and years, I was comfortable with that dopamine hit of my favorite treat, comfortable with having migraine and headaches because I was eating so much sugar. And the comfort kept me there. It was when I became uncomfortable and pushed myself and started taking control of my cravings that things changed. I started to understand that if I wanted to feel better, if I wanted to be more confident in myself, I would have to change my relationship with food. I had to go from being reactive to being really intentional about what I was consuming. Okay, so if you're sitting watching this right now, you may be thinking, okay, this is me. You're talking to me. How do I fix it? Tip number one is to identify those triggers. I would suggest by tracking your cravings, by keeping some type of journal, something in your notes on your phone, Post-its, whatever you have to do. But when you have a craving, I want you to start tracking what you're feeling in that moment. So if after a really long day at work, your boss pissed you off, you have a stressful day, and you're like, I really just want something sweet, track it. Write it down and start to see what the patterns are. What are these triggers? For some people, it may not be stress. It may be when you're really happy and you've had a great day and it's super exciting and you just want more of that dopamine. Track it. This is going to help you identify what those triggers are so you know how to treat it. And second tip to this is to pause before you eat. When I started doing this, I really did see a difference. I was noticing that when I was consuming food, especially food that wasn't the best for my body, I was just devouring it. I wasn't really taking a moment to even indulge myself. So before you reach for the snack, the treat, whatever it is, take a moment. Breathe, pause, and really just ask yourself, be honest with yourself. Am I hungry? Do I need this? Is this going to benefit me and my future goals? More than likely, if you take a moment, just a brief moment, and think about what you're putting in your body, you will make different decisions. I noticed for me, when I kind of took a moment, if I was getting something with a wrapper on it, if I took a moment before I unpeeled that wrapper, I thought about it and I was like, this probably isn't the best decision. I probably really don't need this right now. And I would find either a healthier alternative, or I would, put it down and walk away. And I know that that can be extremely difficult. You could be hearing that and being like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do that. But remember that you are stronger than your cravings. You are in control, and you need to show your cravings who's boss, basically. Don't let your cravings control you. You control them. Step number 2 is take back control and have a shift to discipline. Discipline means doing what you know is right, even when you don't feel like doing it. No longer let my cravings control me. And let me tell you, that was an act of discipline, not motivation, because motivation's fleeting. It goes in and out. It's not consistent. But discipline will get you to where you want to go every single time. And you know what I told myself every time I wanted to, not have discipline, I wanted to grab the snack, I wanted to indulge myself in bad habits? I would say things like, I am worth more than this moment of satisfaction. I'm worth more than a quick fix, and so are you. You have to remind yourself daily, this is a daily thing that you have to do, that you are stronger than your food cravings, and that the cravings, if you indulge yourself, aren't going to get you to the woman that you've envisioned yourself to be. You have to think long term with these types of things. The woman that you're envisioning for yourself in your life, she isn't controlled by food. She eats with intention, not impulse. I had to tap into this mindset every single day. But once I locked in and once I did it, everything changed. Now, how the heck do I do that? Tip number 1 is to create non-negotiables around food. So a non-negotiable could be, I will make sure I eat breakfast before 9 a.m. Or I will not buy processed food and even put it in the house. You have to create these non-negotiables. Some of my personal non-negotiables for around 9 to 10 months is I didn't eat fast food at all. No drive-thrus. It was just non-negotiable. It didn't matter if I was exhausted and I had a really long day and I really was starving. I would take my butt home and I would make a meal, because that was my non-negotiable. So you have to set your parameters. Another non-negotiable is, me and my husband, we don't keep any juice in the house at all, any soda. We don't drink that. And that's a non-negotiable. Are there days where I would love to crack open a Sprite and get that bubbly sensation? Sure, but it's a non-negotiable. It's a boundary that I've set around food, and that is going to help you with your craving. Tip number 2, and I'm a huge advocate of this, maybe because my love language is words of affirmation, but even if it's not, I really do believe that this can work. Create affirmations around food. When you're having a craving, when you're having a weak moment, and you will, you're human, it's natural, but create affirmations. Say, I am stronger than my cravings. This is not aligned with the woman that I want to be. Those affirmations can really help push you on days when you're really struggling. If you're driving home from work, you're exhausted, and you want to stop by a drive-thru, repeat an affirmation to yourself and let it be true to you. Find something that is going to motivate you, because we're all motivated by different things. But find out what that is and repeat that to yourself. And your mind is a powerful thing. What you tell your mind and what you feed to yourself, it believes it. So if you're telling yourself that I can't do this, or I really just want to give in, that's what will happen. But if you tell yourself, I'm stronger than my food addiction, I'm stronger than these cravings, then you will be. Now we're going to get into the science a little bit here, because we're not just talking about willpower. We're really talking about re-educating your body. When I started giving my body what it needed and not just what it wanted, that's when things changed for me. I used to hear all the time when I was overweight, people would say things like, like nutritionists and people who had balanced diets be like, food is fuel, food is fuel. And I really didn't understand that at the time. I was just like, okay, like I felt like that was just something that people said. But now that I'm within this lifestyle, I truly understand what that means. When I eat whole, balanced foods, vegetables, vivid colors, high protein meals, I genuinely feel in my body more energized. I feel like I'm able to tackle my day, get things done. I'm less cranky, I'm less anxious, I'm less moody. It's a fact, it's a scientific fact. When I was eating processed, high sugar, high in fats food, first of all, my skin was breaking out, but I felt fatigued, lethargic, moody, anxious, because those foods are literally bringing all of that to the surface. And if you genuinely right now in your body, when you wake up in the morning and you're not feeling good, or throughout the day by, early mornings, you're very fatigued and tired, and you don't know how to get through the rest of the day, take a look at what you are consuming. It's so important to understand the balance of understanding your cravings and what your body is trying to tell you. Our body really does speak to us, and this is something that I've learned on this journey that I'm on, is if you're like, man, I really want a piece of chocolate right now, that your body is signifying something in that there's something within that chocolate that your body needs, some type of nourishment, and you can give that to your body without indulging. And here's the thing, and this is true, and if you don't believe me, test it out for a week. When you stop giving into your cravings and you start eating whole foods, high protein foods, your body will crave that more. If have you ever just given up something for a week or 2 weeks? Like, you stop eating something and then you have it again and you're like, ugh, ugh. Like, it doesn't taste the same. And I've noticed that. So for me personally, I gave up fast food for around 10 months. I was doing 75 hard. That was the start of it. And then after 75 hard, I continued on. I was like, you know what? I don't really miss fast food. Every now and then I would have a craving, but it wasn't like overpowering me. And then recently I had fast food again. I went to Chick-fil-A, which used to be one of my favorite fast food restaurants. And I got a protein style. I still kept it within my macros. I got fried with no salt. I didn't get a drink. And the food just didn't taste the same. Like, Chick-fil-A used to have me in an absolute chokehold. My mouth would salivate at the thought of having Chick-fil-A on the way home from work. And when I had it again, I was like, I could go another 10 months without this. And truly, genuinely meant that. Because once you take that processed food out of your diet, your body doesn't crave it. Your body starts having real nutrients, and it's like, I don't want this processed stuff. I want the real stuff. Think about like a designer, right? Have you ever had like a designer bag, like a Coach designer bag, and the material and the quality is just, it's beautiful, right? And then you go get like a cheap fake bag and you're just like, the quality isn't the same. It's tearing, it's loose. You have to think about food like that too. High processed food is like a cheap designer bag. It's not real, it's not authentic. You want the real stuff, okay? So how do you do this? Tip number one is make sure your plate has a balanced diet, right? Make sure you have proteins, a decent amount of protein. Make sure you have some vegetables, good carbs, sweet potatoes, things like that. Having a balanced plate will not only keep you satisfied longer, but it will reduce your cravings. A lot of times when you're having these cravings, you're not having balanced food, you're not eating enough protein, and that's why your cravings are kicking in. If you are enjoying this content, make sure you click the like button, make sure you subscribe, it tells the algorithm that you're enjoying this content, and make sure you leave a comment below if this video was helpful. I really love my YouTube community and I want to engage with you guys, so if this video is helpful for you, make sure you leave a comment below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and ladies, listen to me. This is your time, okay? Don't let cravings control you any longer. Follow these steps and I promise you, you are going to start seeing significant changes. Every time you make a healthy choice, you are one step closer to your higher self, okay? I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!